Can I ask you to record that vote one more time? It died on me. Start with your motion, Mr. Blanton.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the new project agreement with Bear and Metro.
I'll second.
Mr. Blanton,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson,
No.
Mr. Rader.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, before we move any further, real quick, we like to, our garbage levy is up for renewal. And we need a resolution to go to the, Board of Elections to put on a ballot. Existing levy is a 2.5 mil. That levy is going to be increased by half a mil. We Rumpke picks up approximately 4,019 units throughout the township. And we don't get billed any, by doing it as a unit, we don't get billed any increase in fuel charges or anything like that. So I'm making a motion, we approve the resolution 2023-09. The board's already approved going out for the levy. And I'd like to approve this motion to send this on down to the auditor, to put on to the ballot for November.
I would second it with the premise that, again, this was the only bid we received. So I want the residents to understand that this was the only bid we received. Rumpke is essentially the only major player in town when it comes to residential garbage collection. And so therefore, for that, I would second the motion.
Mr. Blanton,
Yes.
Mr. Rader,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
Okay. Departments, police department. Sorry. We didn't get fire business. Oh, good evening, everybody. I'm Lieutenant McElroy and Sheriff Patrol District 1. For reports for June, my township had 257 rows. 209 of those were dispatched, as in somebody called into the dispatch for service, and 48 of those were non-billable traffic stops investigation. Service exchange, they had 107 calls where Miami Township cars were requested outside of Miami Township. 30 of those were disregarded en route to the below. 101 times county cars came in from outside Miami Township. 38 of those were disregarded en route. It took 6 criminal reports, 6 non-criminal reports, and 4 auto accidents. Questions, sir?
Speaking of this,
Yes.
I don't know if you've had any complaints, but I'm going to. And I'm not making this up. So I saw numerous cars, the 2 cars that stood out to me. The person was a red Ferrari, dark blue Ferrari.
They come down Shady Lane. I can tell you around 10:30, 11 o'clock at night on Shady Lane.
So usually picked out.
Yes.
That's not.
I thought you were volunteering.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
So I guess with the new pavement down in Woodstown, that makes it even worse. And I don't know if you're aware of that. If they dirt fly.
Can I ask for an address area that you wanted?
Well, my address is 8663.
What's the number?
8663. But I'm going from there, that's down by the church. Crossroads Church, all the way up to Dog Trot. They've been working on it. And then all the way down to the Clays Line, which is on that straightaway there. One of them passed, and it was outside. I couldn't believe it, but it was just unbelievably loud too. The other one I'm driving coming down, he was coming up, the same thing. It was, I couldn't believe it. But he's not the only, I don't know if it's the same guy or not. But,
So they weren't together, they were racing each other.
oh, no, it's two different. They were both good. Friday, white man.
You want to increase enforcement?
But he's not the only one, it's that new pavement is smooth and nice, and people are just
Testing it out.
drive through.
Rude Mustang, right?
That's my only complaint.
We
I've
have,
seen a rude Mustang run.
we've had
40 mile an
that.
hour.
I only because my husband said the name of the car. We've had both of those at night.
Yeah.
And I only know this as soon as you said the name of the car, because I wouldn't know my husband said it. He's like, who has that out here? That was the comment, so. And we're in front of this.
I know he lives in this. Come on.
Haven't seen them in the driveway. Haven't seen them parked in the driveway yet.
I don't think they park yours in driving.
Yeah.
Fully into the drive.
That's all I got. Thank you.
Lieutenant, I've got a question.
Yeah.
What is the rule or the regulation in the state of Ohio for golf carts on a residential street?
They have to be approved by the township, which I do not believe my township has an approval. And they would have to be, even if they were approved by township, then they'd have to be licensed and approved by usually Ohio State has a program where they can see if it's street legal. But first, the township ordinance would have to be.
So I live on Triple Crown
Mhm.
and there's a golf cart that goes up at least once or twice a day,
Mhm.
loaded with kids. I'm guessing they're going to the swim club. And then they go back, pick them up. And the girl that's driving it, if she's 14 or 15, that's a stretch. So to me, it's not safe. But
What time of day?
it varies. I mean, they go up in the morning and they're coming back sometimes around 5:36, 7.
Short answer is no, they're not.
Yeah, well, and she's saying they also go shit.
They go to Shady Lane, they're
Yeah.
going to the swim club.
Yeah.
Again, you
Yes.
see them.
Yeah,
And you are right, they are very young.
yes,
They're not being bad on it. I mean, they're not.
but I wouldn't want,
I don't want.
I wouldn't want my niece or nephew doing that.
Sir,
Well, we're working in Cleves with Sergeant Carney on finding a correlation between violent crime, theft, and the homeless population that we're dealing with in Cleves. I know that you guys police the park and that outlying stretch right there next to the river, and I was wondering if you had any correlation between your current safety report today and the homelessness.
short answer would be no. The numbers aren't exactly screaming up. Cleves obviously gets hit with that a lot more because they're directly camped in the areas that, yes, they end up going, they don't stay in one area all the time, but mostly they do. So, or in Whitewater, they'll go down to the river, so they deal with that quite a bit as well. Not saying they have homeless population, of course. But as far as this report, seeing a lot in Miami Township at this time, nothing.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Anybody else? Okay. That's good. Chief Street.
Where are we going today? Cross Street, Miami Township. You guys have your reports. I'm just doing with the fire runs for our district and for the villages. Miami Township. In our district, we had 7 fire runs, Madison 2, Cleves 4, and North Benning 1 for a total of 14 fire details. We have 13 mutual aid details, and we were canceling around 7 times out of that. You go to EMS details, we had 80 in Miami Township District, with 15 in Addison, 56 in Cleves, 4 in North Bend, for a total of 75 details there. Mutual aid, we received one, but we gave mutual aid out 12 times, so we put somebody else's district to help them out, which is kind of normal. If you can start looking at the other page of this graphs, if you have any questions about the graphs and details for our village, Rock Township and village. The next page after that, we got 80 runs in Miami Township. Going back to that 168 in total, counting the other mutual aids there, so hopefully the month. Page after that is code enforcement, what Scott Duggan has done for that month. If you have any questions in there, it's not a running total, it's only the total we did for that month. So as numbers look low, they're not really low. The guys in the whole department are working hard trying to get all their inspections, pre-plans and everything done. We're very busy doing that the whole time. If you go to the one for the report, we start talking about the medic staffing. Since we upped our staffing to having 9 firefighters and at least 1 shift supervisor now, so we don't have those low numbers anymore. That are one, so we had a total of 60 12-hour shifts with 7 medics on 1 shift, 6 medics on 11, 5 medics on 33, 4 medics on 15. So we always had every unit always in service all month, which is good. That's what we're trying to do. The other side of it is where we transported patients. We see the social media results, what we had there between Facebook and Instagram, with the outreach and the post reach and stuff like that. The last page, for calendar events, we had a fun day parade, June 4th, June 22nd, we had Miami Board Safety Day. I wasn't here that day. I heard it was like very good. Yeah, I didn't say that they said couldn't make it. And just a couple of pictures of some of the training that we were doing down there. Not in the report was that I know like probably the last few months we've been talking about the brush truck and that kind of stuff. And that's finally back in service. The skid unit's been mounted, the tools have been placed on there, so it's back with the county now. We haven't been dispatched this week at some point. I had a question about some of the stuff we have, and this is not in the report either. We have the 2001 Dodge that we replaced in the brush truck. That's still in our lot. We have an old truck bed. We have an old stove that came out of here that's still over there. And I know, I want to say November, like 2021, we talked about trying to come up with a site to get rid of those. They're still there. So I don't know if we could kind of maybe come up with some way to get those items out of our hands. I don't know if it generates money or how do we do that? So
You might go sell Dodge, I don't know about the other 2 things.
We could pull the auction stuff.
yeah, and that's what we can do. And get it in,
Send me the information, I'll contact. We're gonna get rid of the sports.
okay.
Then send me the info and then
I'll send you what we have in my number.
they'll come out, take pictures and everything, those for us to handle.
Okay, we'll do that. You go to here. There's one other thing. I had emailed Cindy, and I don't know if Jack remembers or not, but this is like an annual bill for Pro Air. It's for SCBA refilling station. It's an annual. The bill was due on July 12th, which is right in between where we couldn't get here. So the bill came after the last meeting, but before this one here. So we need to try to get that paid to get that service contract up and going. It is late now by 5 or 6 days. I haven't told, we couldn't pay it because the total was over $1,000. So we have to try to get that paid to keep that going. So I just need your approval for that.
You can put that in with the bill, send me,
Okay.
pay it all night.
Okay, I just didn't know if it had to be approved because every other annual bill came to you guys. And trying to do that, and hopefully hopefully on future budgets, we'll have the annuals for you, so to make a lot easier for us to track those things as they come in.
Chief, tell us what it is again.
It's for our SCBA refilling station for that, so we can do that. It's an annual contract. It's for 1439. But it states that there might be a 1.5 late charge for that just because it fell in between there, so I don't, I would have to call and get accurate.
Okay, just sweet topic.
It's just sweet talking, see if I can see if I can do. Other than that, it's it for.
You want to give an update on where you are with, which we discussed, the chief position, posting and stuff like that?
Right now, we're just trying to, continue to run as we are. Right now, I will continue to run the deputy chief until we get things done. What we need to do now at this point, we've been talking about, we've been meeting about trying to get a better command structure in place for that, allow us to kind of get the responsibilities out at that point, kind of delegate a little bit more and maintain span control and more supervision. We can do that while you guys trying to evaluate what we need as a chief, where you can go and turn our external at that time. We need to kind of keep moving forward with everything. So we've just been meeting, nothing's been set in stone, but we gotta get moving forward pretty quick.
And I applaud you for keeping moving forward, and we're also gonna. I would want whoever the next is to be able to put his or her. Sort of.
Yeah, a lot of it goes, like the 3 lieutenants back there that have worked hard and picked up shifts, and all the firefighters picking up extra shifts, and everybody's played their part and trying to help keep things going. So.
And the other thing is Renee, we got a letter from Renee. Renee was, well, I do. She was a firefighter Township. Your family's been associated with Township a long time. She had some issues. You want any questions, Renee?
I was just curious, I had questions where the for the firefighter Anthony came from. I don't recall seeing anything posted.
I didn't decide any of that, what went on at that point. So I couldn't really properly answer that.
What one thing they did was, when we passed the levy, we passed it for 4 positions. We've been having trouble filling the positions. Sometimes we have 3, sometimes we have 2. So then what we did is we actually assigned a position to each house to make it 4, 4, and 4. And we let the part-timers work in those assigned positions. We might not have a full-timer in that position because we haven't got one on board yet. But we got a part-timer in that position, and that's why these positions are there.
Can
That's
you,
why it's 4, 4, and 4 at each house.
can you refresh my memory as far as the levy? Was it for paramedics or was it for
It was
paramedics and
just,
fees?
Working for any special paramedic or EMT firefighter, just a fire levy. We can get you a copy of it. I see it.
I got a question. You can. I run that show. You can tell me if I'm right or wrong or whatever. When we hired the last 3 firemen, full time, we said we were full, we were good, we were at full staff. Brian loses his chief position, gets demoted, and I'm with Renee on this. How does he go back into having the position of firefighter EMT when it wasn't posted? I don't understand why we didn't hire, if we had it for 4, if you had applicants, why didn't we hire 4 people at that time?
We can have that. We couldn't fill the shifts. And you know yourself, if you're concerned about.
Yeah, but I
Your family, got your family out.
this now.
We had
created a
trouble.
position for,
So what we did, we just assigned those positions in the schedule, put them in the schedule, and then we were able to move people into them on a regular basis. And they did availability to pick up those shifts. They didn't go empty.
okay, and I'm not trying to argue, not trying to be that guy, but what about the other part-timers that have been here for a while? Why weren't they given that opportunity? Why was he just demoted and slotted in a place? I mean, he was gonna be demoted because most people aren't gonna stand up and say, I've been in department for 27 years, I'm just gonna step away. So something's going on. I'll ask my questions about that later. But how fair is it to the other members of this department not to have that opportunity to fill that job? Even if Brian was the guy that was gonna be the most qualified or anything, it still should have been posted. And they still should have been, everybody should have been getting the opportunity, even him. I know that with him as well. You know, he wants to get full-time here. Why wasn't he getting that opportunity? It's just a question I had, I'm not trying to ruffle feathers, but you guys took a 2-1 vote to bring them back and to do their stuff. But what about these other people? That's not fair, that's not right. It's just not right at all. Just to say, okay, you've been under investigation for 6 months, now all of a sudden, we're gonna just put you back on the fire department. But I don't care he's on the fire department, I'm sure that they don't want to either, but still, the job should have been posted. It should have been.
And that's an opinion, we did it to bring it into the resolution, the problem we having. We did it to, fill a position on that shift that was already being filled by a part-timer. Okay, and then, just like a part-timer, you feel like a part-timer should have a chance to get it. Or maybe a 27-year veteran who has good record up until last year should have a chance to get it also.
It's a little different opinion. That's no wrong.
Okay, thanks, Jason, thank you.
I hate to be terribly repetitive, but this is the question I asked the officer, I'd like to ask you as well. Do you see any correlation between drug use and homelessness and your safety report? Can you give us a date to that?
Actually, our guy from the EMS here, have you noticed anything within there? Or
I think there's one bigger change, but
the major changes and we're doing it. So, no, this answer be no.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions? Thanks, Robin. Thank you. Senior Center.
Still trying to get in. My head and work mode has been on vacation. But it's good to be back. June report. Again, I said this last month. These are just highlights of the month. Activities on top of our normal activities that we have throughout the month. So these are just highlights. June 2nd, we had a van outing to Summer Fair in the island. I didn't go on that, but I know Megan did. I just spent money on it. Yeah, so that was a good time. Hot though, I think, but it was a good time. June 6th, we had a representative from the Cincinnati Museum Center come. We give a program on the biggest stars who were either born in Cincinnati or lived here early in their professional career. Lady Williams, Marche, Rosemary, and Betty Clinton, Roy Rogers. So that was June 6th. June 9th, June 13th, we had our Washington DC trip, and that was a fantastic trip. That was so much fun. So we were busy. We saw a lot, did a lot in the few days that we were there, but it was fantastic. And actually, we have our next trips are scheduled January. We have a cruise to the Southern Caribbean, and April to Williamsburg, and we already are having people sign up for those. So even though they're far out, so yeah, it seems like a travel. If you guys are interested, get info and travel with us. Let's see, June 21st, been outing to Rushy Recycling Plant. We've been to the dump, we've been to the recycling plant, we know all about garbage. So, but they've been really interesting to us. So, enough of that for a while. June 29th, we went on a history and heritage tram tour to a Spring Grove Cemetery. And if you guys have ever been there, but that place is beautiful and there's so much history there, and those train tours are wonderful. So that was very nice. Yeah, so that's the month. Upcoming August 16th from 1 to 4, we have Mercy Health, the mammogram van come. They come every year to the senior center. So we're taking appointments now for that. We have limited slots, but yeah, that's August 16th. Just call the center if you have information. I got it. Any got questions or? Yes, Carrie.
These amazing trips that you take on a pretty regular basis, are those limited to the 15 age group or?
No.
more people?
So it's mostly the members, you know, that go, but no, you don't have to be 50 to go. A lot of the seniors might bring one of their kids or so to come with them to help, so we don't have an age limit on the trips. Yeah,
They look like fun.
they're a lot of fun. Yeah, seniors like to travel, so. Membership at the senior center, if you live in the township, it's $5. Outside the township, it's $7.50. So that's, and our membership runs April 1st, actually. It starts.
What's the age?
50
50?
to be a member.
I think you want to.
December.
Maybe stay next week.
December.
You won't have $5 for next week.
So, yeah, so come join. There's a lot of fun things going on, so. Anybody else? Good. Okay, thank you.
Carrie, did you want to say something or you just
Do you,
got a question?
if I have just a few spare moments. Hello, everybody. Thank you for allowing me the time. Carrie Bernard, I'm with the Miami Township Public Library adjacent to the Senior Center. And this past June was our 40th anniversary. We have been there since June 5th of 1983. And we are so incredibly grateful that you have allowed us to have that space for that time. We've been able to do a tremendous amount of things. Last month, we had Julie Thacker come and she gave an amazing event on herbs that you can use in your garden. Everything is free. And I believe we were able to talk about community gardens there as well. We are also next month coming up on Thursday, the 27th, having a live animals and ice cream event, which is a partnership with the Senior Center. So that is free and I would love for everyone to attend. I wanted to pass these on. We had a trivia contest that ran all month long, all things 1983, which was an awesome year, right? And we talked about the history of the library and everything, and our community really likes prizes and contests. So we were able to give away 4 day passes to Kings Island, a limited edition of Clevesopoly. I know you missed out, and some other family fun night packs. But these are from the community. I wanted to pass along to you gentlemen. It's thank you for allowing us to serve the community and that faith. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Maintenance Department, Mr. Miller.
Don't expect me to be that excited.
We're not.
Don't have a whole lot. How's everybody thinking?
Yeah.
We know are being worked on. We didn't get a date yet when they're gonna start the slurry. We do know what blacktop patches are done. Buildings, I'm working on some electrical work down at some of the buildings. We're trying to catch up with some stuff on electrical. So you see that come across your desk. And what's going on? I do have a question of street signs. Street signs on our streets that are decorated. We're responsible to repair them. The decorative signs.
Oh, that they put in their stuff, and I think that would be the HOA.
And the sticker fades away. They're all stickers on the signs, street signs.
So we mean the street name itself.
Yes. So
Yeah, I would think we would be responsible for that, but not the post and the decorative part.
yeah. So we're gonna take the signs off. Just checking. We got a couple signs that are fading pretty bad and
Something we
we
will,
gotta take them down and strip them, then take them to somebody else, new stickers made.
that's something we want to talk about, with, in the future, when we start replacing more and more as maybe township or a logo in there, or something like that. So it's something we can talk about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Just so I don't forget, I just received an email the other day. Yes, to those property owners, gateway. For street sign, replacing street sign, Hampshire Drive and North Country. So.
I got it. I talked to the guy, that's what I'm talking about, the sign over there. They're actually stickers on top of the sign. They're very expensive signs we have to replace. Stickers aren't big. We can take them down and read them.
You think so, man? Part? Thanks, Ron. Thanks, Ryan. That's how it's huge. Safety. Thanks, Jim. How about? Do it. Go ahead.
That includes everything I had to say, right? Hi, everybody. You know, the last thing I said at the last meeting was that my goal was what, 0 WC claims, well, that's been shattered. We had 2 firefighters injured, one on duty, minor injury, but they were still injured and required transportation to the hospital. And that makes it a notice claim. One firefighter sustained an eye injury and free from the storm related to some trees. Branch hit him in the eye, scratched his cornea. He was transported to the hospital, killed, evaluated to Cincinnati, took follow-up, and he's been cleared 100%, no problems. Second firefighter was exiting the Quint on a partial structure far on Pickway. As he exited the Quint, his SCBA strap caught on him. He's really not sure, but when it did, it turned, flipped him around and dislocated his right shoulder. He is currently on light duty and will be further evaluation, what, next week? Yeah, but he is back to work and he's limited what he can do. But we have agreed with him and the doctor and the chief on how we're going to proceed and let him continue to work. So, unfortunately, as I said, it kind of hurts the hail that we don't see anybody get hurt. Now we'll start with our next goal, which is 0. And on all of them, there's drug testing on all the firefighters and all the paperwork, for Sedgwick and BWC done down. Okay, which is a lot. There's a lot of meetings I've attended with the fire department, the fire officers, and the board of trustees. And I just want the residents to understand that they are well protected. We've got a great group of people who are dedicated, the officers that are working, we only have 3 line officers right now, and they're doing a fantastic job of keeping this fire department as a street and moving in the right direction. And I think with the support of the board, and you know, we had a meeting this morning, I really think we're going to put a strong plan together to move forward. And I think at the end of that, we're going to be stronger than we are already. And that's the board of those guys that are here seeing through. I met with Jack down at the department on Township Hall about the possibility of a pantry. Let me tell you, I met with them, Dennis George, they are a great group of people, and you know, I think they were telling me they should average 60 to 90 families. This thing, what a fantastic group, and they have it kind of in the central area of our township, and be able to continue to serve and use some of the part of our structure that we don't use now, and hasn't been used for a long period of time. I think it's a great new for everybody. So I thank them for their kindness. I get donuts down here free on Mondays, they told me someone get free donuts. And I've also, you know, there's a lot of talk about AEDs, usage of AEDs. You know, we still have 2 AEDs, one for the maintenance department that's on order, and one for the park that's on order. We do have cabinets I got with Ronnie last week, we talked with an electrician, talking about putting out the one that's gonna be outside down to center. So I wish I could tell you that they'll be delivered tomorrow. Everybody's buying them now. I think it's fantastic. I mean, I just think it's a fantastic win for the community and to have as many people out there. That's all I have.
Thanks, Jake. We'll cover it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Reynolds, Mr. Dover.
I'm Carrie Rovers. We had 20 events in the community center in the lower level in June, 3 events in town hall. To date, we have 176 events booked for 2023 and 27 events booked for 2024. 2 of the 27 events in 2024 are non-resident events, and 24 of the 176 booked are non-resident events in the community center and lower level. The community center and lower level has been booked so much. It's been a constant stream of bookings. But I think so many people were thinking that our residents can't get in because it's so booked. That's what it was. So I did some numbers crunching and realized that only 13.63% of our total rentals are non-residents. So the community center, the lower level, and town hall are definitely servicing our residents here in Miami Township. So that's a great thing. We held an open house June 7th. I've been trying to do them monthly. We had 17 attend that open house and 2 contracts were signed. I opted to not do an open house in July because of vacations. So our next open house will be August 9th from 5 to 7. It's hard to believe, but we're already looking ahead to next school year and we're signing all the long-term contracts. So dance, Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, they all return to the lower level in August. Due to circumstances beyond our control, we have to postpone movie night, which was going to be July 21st. So we're working on a date for that right now. So unfortunately, we will not be having movie night on the 21st, but we can look ahead to August 12th to our Touch a Truck event, which is going to be outside in the community center parking lot from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock, fun for all ages. And then just a reminder that the community center and town hall will be used for the special election on August 8th. So that's it for me. Does anyone have any questions? Thank you.
Thanks, Jay.
JJ is not here. Kenny, you got anything?
No, I don't have anything for the park. Ronnie, you have anything for the park?
Okay. IT,
I'll say
Go
something
ahead.
real quick. So just real quick, we opened pickleball courts. I don't know if any of you visit the park, Miami Township West Park or not, but pickleball courts are a great addition to the park down there. So if you haven't been down there, drive down and look at it. I think it's a great addition to the park.
Mike Taylor, he's on vacation. He's got anything for IT?
No, we've been communicating well, but he is out this week. And I was trying to meet up with him earlier this week. I didn't know that he was out, so we've got a few things that we're working on, but I don't have to wait till he gets back. But, yeah, he's well.
Okay, is there anything for the public?
Yeah.
Reynolds, Dillon Road. I've been working very diligently to try to get something done with the water situation on Jordan. Contacted Channel 9, 5, and 12 and trying to get some media attention. Mike Wine, got messages into him. We can't go forward with the lawsuit with pleas because Eric's no idea of what you're negotiating. He said he hasn't heard from it. So we can move forward with the lawsuit on pleas because they've got the footprint for the water, correct? So we can file that lawsuit for him?
I don't know what footprints we're talking about.
The what?
I don't know what footprints we're referring to.
Well, they say that Cleves has a footprint to do the water lines on Jordan.
We've approached them several times and they've denied us.
Eric said he hasn't heard from you. I just spoke with Eric, 4 days ago.
I set a meeting with Human County Planning and Development, myself and Reed with Eric. And he relayed to me that Cleveland's council did not want, the only way they wanted to pursue the water line, I would give it up on. But is that if we pay $500,000 to straighten out the water line that runs away from Jordan up to the curb, cuts off that real short.
That's why we need to get a lawsuit started, because his interpretation of it is he asked for some assistance on the water line on Turtle Road going across the bridge.
Not through, that's not us.
So let's just put a lawsuit. Let's get it going. I'll make a nomination to sue him. File it tomorrow.
I've been in contact with him, county planning and development for the last meeting.
What date was that?
I really can't tell you the date.
You can't?
I just talked,
Ballpark?
I talked to Muhammad Islam. I'd say it was Monday.
Okay,
Muhammad Islam is the, supervisor of planning and development. He's a director down there. I'll give you his number.
okay.
And I have talked to him to try to get negotiations going again. But please, if they want, even if we try to put, what do you call the water out there, a station, they still have to read about to let us tap in.
Okay, what about Shady Lane in Bridgetown? There's a property right there. We'll just throw a water tap up there.
Go right here.
Yeah, works for me.
Why not in the park?
What?
Why not down at the park?
Well,
I mean, you're talking what, $1,000?
Police still has to allow us to tap into the water. And they're denying us that.
But Bridgetown and Shady Lane is city water, so we're dealing with a different,
We are. Now, I have talked to Commissioner Greenhouse also. When I talked to Muhammad, I'm trying to get her to put pressure on police to allow us. We have the money set aside, put the water lines on Jordan. We just have to get Cleve's approval.
how much interest does that money go on a year?
Cindy's our fiscal officer, Cindy Ocher.
I'd like to know how many years we've had the money, how much interest we've drawn on it. Because to me, it just seems like it's to your all benefit to not put the water in, to use the interest money for other areas.
That's not the case.
Well, what about the water line out here at Shady Lane Bridgetown?
We want fire protection for you and fresh water access.
Yeah, I was gonna say, these guys put their butts on the line, and if the house catches fire, if they go in it, they're in trouble, because it'll probably be burnt down before they get there. But if they go in to see if anybody's in there, at the top of Jordan, we done lost the fire.
Do what car's the last part?
At the top of Jordan, when that house caught fire, we lost the guy,
Yeah, we did.
and they have water there. What do you think it's gonna be like at the bottom? And I heat with wood. I mean,
So let's put a temporary tap up here until you get it worked out with, a lot of people can't make the 9 to 3, at Nile Plumbing. I mean, I'm hauling water for another person down there that they just can't get off work to go between 9 and 3 to get the water at Nile, and they're closed on the weekends. So how hard would it be to put a temporary tap up here?
We can't put a temporary tap right here. Well, Michael, we're not working on the roundabout right here.
Yeah, well, so
We're working on the project right here that includes that property. Right now.
Okay,
That's out of the question.
where else is the township owned properties?
We all have to get approval from the lady. You're gonna drive up here versus driving to Nair. Nair is five miles closer for you.
I'm referring to 24 hours a day, or some people can't make the 9 to 3 requirements in our plumbing. It's great that he's given us water. I don't know what we would do if he stopped us from doing it, other than going over and getting the arsenic water off Lawrenceburg Road.
Township set that up, all back in. We decided to close our water outlet just abruptly without contacting anyone, I mean, all claims.
Well, that's why I say look at the lawsuit. How hard is that?
It's something I'll ask our attorney,
Okay,
and I'm for it. I'm for it, because whatever would give us access to the water line. My best interest, water on for them.
okay. So next 3 weeks, it's not gonna happen.
The next 3 weeks.
Okay, 6 months?
It'll be before then. I tell you what, you give me your information, give it to me, and I will copy you in on all the emails
Okay,
between Hamilton County and, police and our attorney concerning George Flood. See what I don't even know if we're eligible to sue the spell, the one spell, sue, I don't know.
okay.
So they wanted $500,000 from the township to straighten out a water line that they put in. And then they were gonna give us access.
Okay, seems like we drew enough interest. $500,000.
Blackmail it is.
Well, it's
Pretty much blackmail.
today doing business. I mean, that's just doing business, you know, you gotta take in, pay in pocket, so why ain't we doing it?
I don't know what they're talking about. What?
You know, it's blackmail, go ahead and do it, give it to them. Maybe we drew that much interest in 10 years of the money sitting there.
The money's not just sitting there for that specific reason, it builds up. But we have the money with the water lines on it. I can't tell you how much. It's not that specific money, it's in a tip fund.
Okay,
So we can inquire with Cindy and see. But we can try to move forward on it, because I told you, I talked to Commissioner Treehouse, she's willing to meet with us and try to get Cleese back to the table along with, Clean and Development, try to move it forward.
Do you still got that last drive I gave you?
about 10 years ago, I think you
No,
last
just
year.
a couple of years back.
Yeah.
I gave it to you and it showed where Cleves has. They said in 78, they ran water up Jordan or Thunder Road, and they did, and I gave you that. But I'll get another copy.
Get another copy. I'll give you your info. Right, and I will copy you in on the emails.
Okay.
And try to get this thing going. But I have reached out to the county this week, it was Monday, I thought. So directly, planning and development.
Okay. Good enough. I'll be back.
I don't understand how a municipality can do that. That's a public system, they get federal
I
money.
think it's wrong too.
And,
I question it since to get,
you know, I don't know how they can hold, I mean, you have the money to do it, and you already said, I don't know how they can hold it, they hold it in grants.
there's a bit of
$400,000. Hamilton County, set up that water system years and years ago, and there was a contract between Hamilton County and the Devoted Cleves about supplying water. Was it our taxpayers' money put into that system? No, it was Hamilton County and the Village of Cleves, that's where the contract is at. The contract includes Miami Township and incorporated area. You know, what they can do and can't. You know, we're talking about water plant contract. And we also ought to be talking about the number of hydrants.
Yeah.
That are out in the community that are not operable.
I
And
agree with you.
somebody's home's gonna burn down, and I hope it's not mine, and I sitting there with the bag over it.
We
I
worked
mean,
on, we
I
worked
mean,
on
but-
more on this land.
I'm sorry.
Mr. and Mrs. Creech, Todd and Dave Creech, those got ran over, and it took a year, she called me, it's a more year. She told me a year. And started calling, she called them, they recalled them, and then they put it in, and then it's later. So she was happy about it, but that's something, Chief Street, that we could use a report from the fire department on, non-working fire hydrants. We can send a letter including all that.
I don't think we have any on the Cincinnati side, do we? Right? It's out of service.
I couldn't really tell you, but everybody, most of them are the thieves there.
I don't think any on the Cincinnati side of the waterworks is out of service.
So I'll find the exact number.
We've got to get something that is like service.
What we're paying for the water fixes. If they've got the money, they should take care of the system, which, and fire protection for one of the highest reasons we have water. You know, like this, they have that hydrant here for protection. The closest one to me down in Edgewater, the one past me is a bag over. You know, it's serious.
Yep. Oh, I think it's serious. Okay, Scott, please.
They can make it part of their monthly report.
I don't know. Or please.
Yeah, anybody else from the committee? Yeah.
My name's Mr. Moreline, 5612 Gum Run Road. I'm gonna have one real quick thing for the gentleman with the wall. Is there any way for a quick solution for these people? Why can Township meter on a hydrant? Let these people get free water. Just put a meter on a hydrant, go right down to the park. I know it's a little dangerous filling out of a hydrant, but I'm sure these people have done things similar to that. We could come up with some type of safety thing. I don't know if there's a hydrant close to Station 69 that could be monitored by our fire department for safety. But it would give these people access to water. That was the first thing. And the second thing, been following this fire department. Maybe it's inappropriate right now to bring it up, but we've got a full house here. Congratulations for all you people showing up. We usually have 4 or 5 here every month. Looks like we got a full house, so we got some interest here. My interest is with the fire department. I've been following this for 4 months, just like everyone else. People are going on vacation. Some people get emails. Some people do not. To clarify this in front of everyone right now is, can the board give us, the public, what is actually going on with our fire department right now? I hear things that Chief Lacey has been demoted to a firefighter. I don't know anything what happened to his wife. I get other things saying, no, he's not hired back. I understand Chief Street is our acting chief right now. But if you could just clarify this and give us a quick 2-minute update, I think it would be appreciated by all of us.
In our last meeting, we had the approved a last chance signed agreement. Chief Lacey signed that agreement June 22nd. And we approved it at our last meeting. It brings Chief Lacey back into the firefighter EMT position. We'll be coming back. We'll be going out for another chief. Want to search for another chief. I don't know what else you're looking for. He is coming back as far as Lieutenant Lacey goes. He will probably be coming back also. I would expect at the same time. We'll know more about that later. But there's accusations made, and they were put them on paid leave in order to not appear that the investigation was done internally. If we paid lawyers to come in here and do, there was no intimidation by anybody. They didn't feel intimidated. Okay. They could do their investigation. The firefighters they talked to wouldn't feel intimidated because the chief was here, the lieutenant was here. So they were on paid leave. They didn't lose a dime while he was on paid leave. For the compensation. We got flack for that. They would get flack for that. That's part of our job. We take the flack. but, the solution came out of the investigation by sheriff's department, also by the attorneys. In all fairness, they were supposed to be confidential. The firefighters who took part in it were told it would be confidential, and somehow it got leaked out. I'd like to see an investigation into that and find out how it got done. But that's where we're at. Chief will be back. He's on vacation now. Vacation, talked to him. It was scheduled. He goes in July about every year. They both go together in July, so both on vacation right now. Paid vacation, it's a record vacation, not losing a dime. He will be back probably end of July on that, July 30th.
Gotcha. Well, thank you very much. One other thing real quick, does Mr. Reed still work for the township or is he resigned for a second time?
He's resigned for a second time. Thank you.
You know, to get up, or can I ask for my seat? Where do we find out the details of the last chance agreement?
It's a public record and you can ask him for a copy of
So
it.
we have all the details in there. So he's promoted to firefighter, chief lieutenant.
Right now,
Was his promotion the same pay or a pay?
please.
Is he at the same pay or a pay cut?
He will be getting a pay cut, be paid as medic EMT, same as everybody else is.
I didn't know. Didn't know.
Anybody else?
Hi, everybody. My name is Kyle Smith. I live at 320 Skidmore Street in Cleves. I am the candidate for mayor down in Cleves. I had a big presentation about journalistic ethics and election ethics all prepared, but unfortunately my audience didn't show up tonight. I would like to thank Mr. Glenn and Mr. Whittaker and Mr. Robinson for all the work they do, and I'm not really needed at these meetings. I just came up to flap my guns, if you guys don't mind. I love that Mike brought up this water issue. I'd appreciate if you guys held off on a lawsuit until I get my feet like a little bit more stable, and then we can tackle this water issue, because that's important, getting water in the community. I feel that's very important. That's something I want to work on with the community, and let's just hold on for just a second. Let me, and if I don't win, then sue his pants off. I could care less. I did want to talk about some things we're doing in Cleves that I think are important to you gentlemen as well. We put together a farmer's market in Cleves. That farmer's market has made $680 to $700 in 3 weeks. I think bringing a system up here and doing that would be beneficial to you. It puts a little bit of money in your pocket. It's all going to beautification right now, which I think is fantastic. That allows us to beautify our town down there and plant flowers and do fun things. I've got some big plans for the next year with doing the festivals and stuff like that. So hopefully we'll get some revenue generators. Maybe if I make that $400,000, I'll pay for the $100,000. But oh my God, tough thing to follow. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's about it. I would like to see about what you guys are gonna do with the tram pantry. I know that someone had mentioned that the town hall would be used for that, so that was something I'd like to inquire about.
That's something I'm gonna bring up when we do the committee things. I'll be bringing it up very shortly.
Fantastic. That's something I'm passionate about as well. It needs to be done. The tram pantry is important to the community and the less fortunate. And then there's one more thing. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, the maintenance department. The police maintenance department is, I believe, if I'm correct, I'm not 100% sure, on your guys' property. So, do you want to switch, or do you guys want to like throw that back, please? I believe the line is there at the post office, if I'm not mistaken. I've gone over some zoning things myself.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's on your guys' property. I don't think it's just a technicality at this point, but I'll give you $1 for that property. You guys want to?
How about 400?
$400? $400? Okay, $400,000 for that property. All right. Or we can switch one of the two, I mean, I think that's a fantastic deal, right? That would help me out a whole lot with all that salt stuff, but,
Yeah, our maintenance guys, we gotta keep our maintenance guys.
yeah, right. But with that, our little shed or whatever, I think I believe is on your guys' property, so, I just think it'd be fun if we gave that back or whatever, and put it back on Cleve's land. Does anyone have any questions for me? I know that.
I did.
Oh, cool.
I have a question about, are you guys gonna bring in any like shopping things or anything like that? Or
Yes.
try to put it on, because there's nothing in place for anybody to do.
Cool, so I'm glad you brought that up. I've started a business committee, in Cleves. The business owners meet once a month. We actually meet this Thursday, and all the business owners are invited. They all get an email stream. The minutes are put out to every business owner in Cleves. Two young ladies who came to my farmer's market, they have showed interest in a property right next to Rustic Happiness. There'll be boutique-esque things as well. I know that some of the major property owners in Cleves have pledged to fix up their properties and make them more viable to retail. So yeah, that's great question. Awesome. Anybody else?
I had just one little one. Is that a little other you're putting on?
Yes, sir.
Is that a renewal or is that? Is
I believe it's a renewal, but it might be brand new. I'm voting for it. That's my personal opinion. We're about to get a new mayor and I am perfectly capable of falling flat on my face. I'm not gonna pretend I'm not. And if I do, I don't want to take the town with me. So I'm urging at least everybody who's voting for me to vote for that levy to protect the town from the possibility that the new mayor, be it me or my opponent, falls flat down and takes the town with us. So that's just my personal opinion. Yes, sir.
Now, if they're maintenance building or the maintenance buildings on county property, how'd they take the water tap out?
Think about water tap.
That used to be down in front of it.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
I don't think that's on their property.
It might be a mistake. I was just looking at some zoning things and it looked like that line crossed in a weird spot and I'm just bringing it up. I'm trying to get clarification from my council and I'm trying to get clarification from you. So,
We'll look at it.
Look at it.
yes,
But it's, Jack's been here 25 years, I've been here for 10 years now. I've never heard it brought up anything like that. I know. They're not.
maybe it's just rumor mill. It was brought to my attention by someone who was concerned, so I figured bring it up.
If that is the case, can we get some pictures?
What? Sorry.
If that's the case, it's their property, can we get some pictures?
Probably. I mean, I would assume so.
Lawsuit, get on it.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Anything else from the public?
Can you get anything from the region? Nothing you want to talk about anyone? I don't want to put you on the spot.
So the golf outing coming up, I don't have the date. Wait, right here, right here.
Hi, I'm Christine Rule. And it's has to do with the zoning that happened up on Cliff Road from 11th to June 10th. We have some information I'd like to present. First off, the letter has two zoning variations, not just one. So the variations, it's like, we understand zoning variations. Looking for zoning relief. We can show why they deserve this without hurting others. Of course, everybody's allowed to build on their property, but they have to follow community guidelines. And this doesn't seem to be followed in this case. There are letters in there from the Hillside Trust. There's also letters in there, a letter in there from the geologist at Mount St. Joe. So we would just really like to present the fact that I would like you to reassess your letter down to the board. We have another meeting downtown, August 9th. And so if we could get it, if you could look at this again, we would appreciate it. And the whole community also. This property is has landslides.
I think it's a landslide, 15 years.
There's landslides everywhere. There's information in there about that.
It's moved since the 60s and 70s. It's been,
Many times they say factors that need to be considered when you're asking for a non-use variance. And the property in question will be used in any other way, and I say yes. Maintaining hillside integrity. Is a variance a substantial variance? Be very substantial. This isn't just a few feet here and there. It is I don't know if y'all are aware of it, I don't know, maybe I should stop talking and look at this. But they are looking for a 44% closer to the road than everybody else. And 37% higher. That's not just a few feet here and there. And so says, will the essential character of the neighborhood be substantially altered, or would adjoining property suffer substantial detriment as a result of variance? I'd say yes, not just up on the cliff, but Brower Road also. Will the variance adversely affect the delivery of governmental services such as garbage, sewage, or water lines? I would say yes. Let's not even talk about septic. We all love septic. And did the property owner purchase the property with the knowledge of the zoning restrictions? I would say yes. And the property owner's predicament be feasibly alleviated through some other method than the variance. In other words, does he have a remedy other than the variance? And I would say yes, there are other properties to go on. Will the spirit inherent behind the zoning requirement be observed and substantial justice done by granting the variance? I don't think so. So we're asking you to review this so that we can take this down to the zoning department for our June 9th meeting. I know that you're not gonna give us an answer tonight. I understand. I understand that. I didn't know to bring for each one.
You're fine, you're fine. That's okay.
Anyway, thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Oh, there's pictures. Maybe afterwards I can explain what the pictures are.
Okay, anything else from the public? Yes, sir. Choose your name and.
I wanted to ask the board, at the meeting that the person asked for the variant setback, did he give you the scope of the size of the building or the height of the building?
The same issue.
Yeah, the same issue, 27.
Did not.
The only thing we agree is we didn't agree to that. It was 15 foot variance. That's it. And that variance and side variance, everything else associated with that project is determined by
the zoning board?
Yes. Okay. The zoning board, building department, and with the township doesn't decide yes or no, whether we want it built, we don't have to say yes or no.
I understand that. Did you understand that I gave him such a short variant that the building would stick up 19 feet above the ground?
We didn't give them anything. We didn't give them anything. We said we didn't have a problem with it, but we referred it to everything. Hamilton County was all of that. Okay. For my administration.
Because at that meeting with the zoning board, he said that Miami Township had signed off on this variant.
But we're gonna look at it again. From this,
Because I was wondering if you had all the information you need.
We did not. But the ultimate say out of the whole project.
I understand.
Is done. Building department was all.
It just seemed odd to all of us who were opposing this. He made it look like there's nothing wrong with getting the variant because closer to the road means it's gonna be higher. But,
Definitely gonna bring that.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Was that property ever offered to Miami Township?
I don't think it was, I remember, I wanted to develop a park or something along there at one time. We talked about, it was never offered to us to buy or offered to.
Offered to you and you all said, well. He said, you don't, they didn't even want it. This is not a
No.
park situation.
No,
This is.
no, it wasn't offered to us.
Not for that.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, it was something a lot of people wondered why some township or somebody didn't accept. Right, because it's just a wooded hillside, and you don't have to do anything. Just do the fun.
I mean, we all live in this area. We know how beautiful it is around here. And how beautiful it is up there and how fragile that hillside is. And how beautiful it is. I'm sure everybody drives up Longcliff Road, right? So to put a home like that in such a fragile environment. And then asking for the zoning variances, which are substantial. Okay,
Okay, thank you very much.
thank you very much.
Anything else in the public?
Yes.
Yes.
Same.
My name is Tina Scott, and I own property, that will be directly in front of, the house that he wants to build. So my house is on Brower Road, and, if you walk in my backyard, as you go up, like you're walking up toward Cliff, there are several really bad, sections of Cliff Road. So, one of the proposals was, and my heart goes out to the people that do live on Cliff Road because he's wanting to build a 7,000 square foot home. I mean, this is the Taj Mahal. It's huge and it'll be on stilts. He will be looking down at my house, which I have a property because I like to have woods in the back of I don't want a house hanging over my house. So I think with him coming in is the way he would have to access this. He says he's gonna take the guardrail out and work over the cliff, which is insane. You're gonna build a house hanging over the cliff, peering down and all this stuff. With moving all that massive amount of dirt and all the stuff that he has to do, he is really jeopardizing the homes on Brower Road. From what I understand, he did buy the land that is to the right of me. And he thought about putting in a driveway to go all the way up to the property from Brower Road, which again, it's just moving so much dirt and so much of the hillside. It's really gonna jeopardize all the homes there. It's just in that direction. So just for the record, I just feel like you've got to look at the whole picture. I know that people on the road, they like their view. That's why they bought their properties there. They've been up there for a number of years and they enjoy their homes. And now it's going to be blocked by 7,000 square foot home. But at the same time, I don't want somebody looking over my property, watching a child jump on a trampoline, or I can't enjoy my yard or my property because of the house that he wants to build. That's all I have to say.
There's already a road from Cliff Road down to Brower Road. Right there at the big bend,
At the end.
at the end of Cliff Road, you make the bend.
Yes.
It could get straight. In fact, there's still some blacktop and stuff on that. It goes down over the hill and goes all the way down to Brower Road.
I guess the guardrail isn't.
Yeah, years ago, I don't know. You know, a long time ago.
Right.
I think everybody here, because we are all taxpayers, know that up there, they have to have the pilings. And it's already costing money to shore it up there. I'm really just, what assurances do neighbors have? And every taxpayer is at large guaranteed that there's gonna be no more landslides. And if there are, what is our excuse? Because of this zoning.
You were used the word fragile, and fragile is the perfect, word to use for, the land between Cliff Road and Briar Road. It is fragile.
But a lot of the work you did down on Brown Road, when it did those tanks and things, and down there, you got it. It weakened that hillside.
And there's no guarantee on any filings for more than a year.
Can I add one thing about,
Yes, sir.
about what she was talking about from Brower Road? The proposal by this owner is that he bought all that farm. Because he wants to clear it out. So he can drive, I guess, the drilling trucks up there to drill. And then have dump trucks come up, take that dirt, go east on Brower Road, then all the way up Cliff Road and dump it in that little patch of woods right there. Up Cliff Road. So clear cutting that to bring all that material out of there. It'll destroy Cliff Road. Dump truck after dump truck going up there and dumping it. It'll destroy that whole road.
Thank you very much. Anything else from the public? Okay, board. Mr. Bland?
I just got a few things. First thing I was gonna just thank Dan Reed, he is our excellent integrator now, but Dan he did a good job for us when he was here. He helped us with numerous township business, and that's why we hired him. One of the, grants, there was 2 or 3 of them, one of the grants was with the fire department. I can't remember how much that was. 122,000 or 22,000. So I just wanted to just say, because there's been email sent about, Mr. Reed that we're untrue. I think we're untrue. But I think he went above and beyond for the board of trustees and the residents of the township. I just wanted to say that. Second thing was, I wanted to bring up for, I was contacted by the Brewers Athletic Association. And this is just for discussion. So to see, discuss, and see what people are about. So Andy Messer, he's the president of the Brewers Athletic Association. He wants to sell banners on dams at Miami Township West Park. And the splitting profit of Miami Township with the Riverside Athletic Association. So I wanted to bring that up as we had in discussion. Just business payments. I think we could set, the board could set a size and dimension and where we would want to locate it and how we control it. It would be a way for them to make a little more money for a youth athletic association. And like I said, the other half can be township. So I know the school does it. I think it's $500 a payment. I don't think it would be.
How long do they stay up? Do they rotate the banner?
I would think. It is within details. I would just bring it up and see what those thought, and then we can get into more detailed conversation and ask other questions like that. I think it's a good idea, but I want to see what this.
I mean, I have a problem with you exploring, that and having further conversations, say that, the Three Rivers does for some of their athletics, and I know that's an annual thing that they put up certain banners and sponsors and stuff, so I think it hurts to do some more on what we.
Go ahead, pursue it. And then we'll talk about it again, we'll bring it up for details, questions answered. The other thing I have is, technology would put out request for qualifications, and the board decided to, hire geotechnology. It's on this platform. We're doing a slipper pad there. And they sent us their proposal. Dan Reed and I met with, geotechnology about 2.5–3 weeks ago. And I wanted to make a motion on this. It's a project agreement, again, I'm proposing for the land side and drainage improvements on Whispering Farm. And the amount for geotechnology is $20,559, and the sub consulting services not to exceed $13,915. So the total comes not to exceed, this total was $34,474.50. And I'm making a motion that we have the proposal so they could keep moving forward and we get that slip.
I would second it. Again, I would just distinguish that I see this as a safety issue for the residents up there. I think that it's different than my previous position. And so I second the motion.
Mr. Blanton,
Yes.
Mr. Reniger,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
Did we reach out to the county or to, the last time we had a slide up there, OPW, our public works paid half of it.
Yeah, we reached out to them. They didn't partner with us.
At the offer they made us a little back about the ground. Yeah, you want to help us out a little bit? Okay, so remember that guy.
So we're on the run for this project.
All right, because last time they paid 50%, we paid 50%.
Right. Have to do with the grant, press time. We reached out and they said,
That's a question
yes, sir.
about the geotech. Does he have a final say so, more or less, if that's a safe thing to do?
I would think so. They'll make recommendations to us, but what Mr. Reiniger was referring to, we went through the same thing back in 2014. And you have to test the soil and do a geotechnology test. So, but we did peering on that. It was halfway up the hill, and now the top that we didn't do was starting to slide. So we're trying to be proactive to get that put in before that's a township road before that slides any further over toward Woodford.
So just to clarify, is it geotech different than, like a structural engineer for the piers, when it comes to the piers?
I think so.
Geotech is actually going to take borings, he'll do borings, and take samples of the borings to see if what it was solid. Oh,
I can give you a copy of it, see what they're looking for. That's all I have.
Robinson.
Speaking of roundabout, I forgot to bring this up earlier, but I would just say that the county engineer reached out to me again and asked if we had made any final decisions on that. As we discussed previously, if they're going to reapply for the grant that is due in September, and they're saying that that would take a couple months here, so I don't know if you guys have thought any more about that, or if you want to talk about it later or follow up the next meeting, but they're I guess trying to gauge where we are on it. Yeah.
I thought we got out of it when they made their offer for us to put up the extra $3 million. I thought it was going to be back out.
Separate from
There were great.
I know, but it all had to do with the roundabout. We're out of the roundabout business now, right?
Yes. No, so there was, do we front all the money to do it now? And we said no, clearly I gave a definitive answer there. The other option on the table was, do we reapply for the grant in September with the same the same ratios where the state pays for 50%, the county pays for 30%, we pay for 20%, but at that higher number. And that we would apply in September, probably here in December or January, to start back in the summer of 24 instead of this year. So that's what they're looking to hear from us. Are we still interested in that? And I should have brought it up, sent you guys an email. I apologize to that, but like I said, I just got an email recently from the county engineer saying that we made up lines.
So the last time when we dropped up $3 million, we got out of it. We decided to do it again. What makes them think that the time lag between when they do all this work, it's not going to go up another $3 million? That's what I'm worried about.
They did a contingency, but it was, if I recall, and I don't have it in front of me, but it was 3.9 mil to 4.5, which is admittedly a huge buffer. But that was to give some leeway if costs continue to rise over the next, 9 to 12 months. And that, so yes, it went from the 1.8 to the essentially 4 billion. And that, but we would be on the hook for 20% of that higher number. But if they're going to do it, then they need to, like I said, move forward pretty soon. And if we want to just put a nail on the coffin and say we're done, then so be it. But we do need to give them some clarity. And if you're not ready tonight, then I can let them know that that we're still contemplating it. But they're saying that they can't turn the application around overnight, and that they're going to need a little bit of time to do that. Luckily, they have a lot of the previous information to go by, so it wouldn't be starting from scratch, but they still get time to put the application together. So if you want to wait, again, we can't, I suppose, wait unless you know where you stand on it tonight. Probably looking between 800,000 and 900,000.
Where does that money come from?
And that's again where I know what I said earlier. No, I'm saying it. And it's do you consider a roundabout, the state considers a roundabout a safety issue because their argument, and again, I came into this in the 11th hour of this 8-year project. But it's, they look at it as that it diminishes head-on collisions and crashes and things like that. And they see it as a safety issue to put roundabouts in.
Ryder, do you know how many head-on crashes we have at Shady Lane?
I do not. I'm telling you what the state is saying, that it drastically reduces the amount.
I mean, I understand that. Because Indiana did the same thing, and they have roundabouts everywhere in Indiana. But the question becomes whether or not, and I always thought, okay, so let's say we put the roundabout in, and all of a sudden we've got the fire truck going out, we've got the life squad going out, and we've got all these people in the roundabout, and they can't get through. I don't know. It's a busy intersection.
When they started the project, the state of Ohio wouldn't participate unless you went to a roundabout. We bought the land with the intent of making turn lanes years ago, but in order to get the state to take part and pay 40%, they said they have, whatever it was, they have to do it a roundabout. That's how it came into a roundabout. We wanted to go to the turn. We wanted to turn lane. What's the cost? Sorry to interrupt you, but what's the cost? Like, is that? Well, they want to prove it. They won't prove it. Because we need the state to be involved because it's state road. So we got the county involved, the state involved, and the township.
Somebody there. It has to be around. If they're gonna do anything, yes.
I will say this, I'm not opposed to, partnering with them, but at least doing a commitment to
for the grant, I mean, they might not even receive the grant, but I think this meeting, I think if we don't move forward, if we get this, if they get the grant, or if they get denied the grant, I think we should be the time. I mean, we've been doing this 7, 8 years now.
At least 8.
So, but I think it's something, I like them. I really do. I think they keep the traffic moving. I think they are safer. And we would have sidewalks out here. We would have crosswalks out here. And that's just my thing on it. So we will just hold it. They're not what they do.
I don't know, he just said, he's, those two, whatever that is, so that they have enough time, if they're gonna do it, that they meet the deadlines.
Why don't you do this, why don't you send us the email that they're referring to, and then if they need an answer before our next office meeting, we can table it and say for sure we're gonna vote on it at the August meeting, and if they need an answer before then we call special meeting.
I just want to make sure that everyone knows we have our next summer concert on August the 4th. Again, that's TV. That's always a huge draw. So again, knock on wood, weather cooperates, but August 4th, 7 to 10 or 7:30 to 10 for TV. And the final thing is, I just want to thank lieutenants who got, but I had an opportunity to sit down with some of the fire department representatives, and I appreciate what everybody's doing during this difficult time, particularly as Mr. Hughes stated, there's lieutenants who are really first line supervisors and really day-to-day operations. So, anyway, that's.
We already did a resolution on the garbage, but we met with the trans group from down at the town hall. They've been operating out of the church up in the back. Church has been sold. They've been asked to get out of church. Been kicked out of church. But and they talked to us about, they did once before and it didn't materialize, about using the apartment, the back end of the town hall to distribute food. They'd be doing it on twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays, I understand. They are a tax exempt group. They are insured. They have their own insurance. And really, I just wanted to bring it to the board to see what their opinion would be and what's to vote on tonight, because they very limited on the amount of time they have to get out of the church up there. They distribute to 65 to 90 families in the area, distribute food, bag it up, pass it out. They feel like they did go through the building down there. They feel like it'd be an ideal spot. A couple things have to be done with check the electric. Sure, it's gonna hold. They got 2 freezers and 2 refrigerators. Should be okay because we used to have a refrigerator in that apartment. So I knew we'd get for 1 refrigerator. So, like, you know, is any questions that the board has, or make a motion that we allow them to use it, at least on a trial basis, to distribute foods. Right.
Just so there's what exactly we have the upstairs.
No, in the back, we have an apartment. We used to have a custodian in that apartment. We haven't had anybody in there since the last lady left. Well, yeah, and then Noreen Glacken was in there for quite a while, and she left for medical reasons. The apartment's laid empty. We have had it painted, new flooring, the walls paneled. Ronnie's group did that, and it's been laid empty, and it'd be a good use for the building. Basically, you'd have you have that being used, you have the Kiwanis using it, you got the, museum at the end, so I think it's a good fit for the tram group, and they don't have a lot of money to go out and find someplace, and you need someplace in the area to distribute food to people, our people, and try to keep it local. And I'm a strong supporter of it. Whenever I have money left over from my campaigns in the past, I could give it to the tram group. So,
in general, I'm supportive of, I mean, I know that Mr. George does a great job with that. There's a lot of supporters. It does a lot of good things for the community. I know that people take advantage of it. So in general, I'm very supportive of it. Mr. Roberts, since you rent that space, do you have any questions or anything that you need to address before we sort of?
Yeah, just a quick question. On those days, would we not do rentals in town hall?
well, it's a Monday and a Thursday.
Monday, Thursday, 1 to 3. I don't see how in that part of the
Yeah,
building.
it's
rent.
That's what I would like.
You can still rent the hall. You still got parking across the street. You got, and people just, they would walk up to the window on the outside. It wouldn't be going into the reception area or the rental area at all. So.
That was just my question. I mean, I'm totally
Have
in
you been,
support
have
of
you been
it.
in the apartment down
I
there?
have not. I just wanted to know like how that affects me at all. I just want to make sure I get clarity. So I'm good with whatever.
Yeah, well, it'd be a use of the building, much like the church is used about building down there on a Sunday afternoon. So, any questions, Danny?
No, I'll just comment on it. I think it's helping our, local families. And it's vacant, the townships that we're using when it's available. And I think it's great idea.
Michael, any further questions?
No, I guess, you said they have insurance liability, don't make it stuff, and that basically they're gonna take responsibility for that area, keep issues.
It's still our building and we just make sure it's the same as it is right now. That's all.
One thing also, Mike, we met down there, no one visiting the pantry will be in our building. They'll all be done. They will be outside. So you don't have to worry about steps. The only ones that will be on the building will be the number workers.
They'll be passing,
We were concerned about.
Sure.
they'll be passing stuff out. Yeah, there's a window there, gigantic window they can open up. So I'll make a motion to let the tram go ahead and try it and see if you guys can make it work for you and, let us know how it goes.
I'll second.
Get Ronnie to get keys and stuff like that.
I'll second.
Mr. Ranger,
Yes,
Mr. Blanton,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
if you guys want to leave, let's get out. If you're not enjoying this, it'd be too much
I'm sorry,
excitement
did we
for you.
establish a timeline for the trial or?
No, just let them go and see how they go and see if it works for them.
Thank you.
If they make it work. They'll tell us if it doesn't work.
I agree.
Okay. Ronnie Miller, we got a letter. I think it came from Carrie. About you helped somebody down there had car trouble. I just want to say thank you. They said you was going past, come down Bridgetown Road. Saw them over there in the parking lot, whoever helped them. It's always good to get good reports on your people. We always get good reports, unfortunately.
He was an 80-year-old resident.
Yeah. No, he's not 88.
Wasn't it, when did he 80?
80-year-old guy.
80-year-old, just from a chemo treatment,
And
and
then
wife was out there with him, and it was like 90 degrees.
90 degrees, he couldn't get his car started, and you helped him, and,
We didn't get a damn part started, though.
well, Carrie told us about it. Carrie told us, and she says a letter, just so you know who it came from, and want to thank you on behalf of the township. It reflects good on not just the township employees, it reflects good on the township itself. Thanks, Don. And, the position of the administrator, I mean, Mike, you want to discuss that, bring that up, want to move forward on it, and wait for Cindy, or you want to move forward and worry about the pay after we get somebody in there?
So I made a motion, I remember it was a week, a month and a half ago, or 2 months ago, and we decided to table it at that time. Guess I would reintroduce a motion. Put a position out as a full-time administrator, we're just bringing up for discussion. And the salary that we asked Ms. Oster, our fiscal officer, to consider and give us feedback on was a salary range between 80 and 90,000 as a starting salary, to be considered based on experience and with education. And so I'll bring it up to see if the board has any thoughts or feedback on part-time or full-time. In my opinion, we've heard from Mr. B that we thought that it was needed to have a full-time individual in there, and I would agree with this assessment. And so I can make a motion if we're prepared to do that, or discuss it. If you'd like to do that first.
I don't have discussion. I think it's a need, a need that the township needs. Not because every other township has it, but we're a smaller township, and we're a bigger, we can watch the projects going on. Large number of personnel, we have issues. I think it's a good, it's a need of the township. I think we need more.
Well, yeah, and I appreciate that, and I agree with it. Other than that, I think it's very easy for us to be surrounded by Colerain, Green, and Delhi, and Colerain and Green are literally some of the largest townships in the entire state of Ohio, out of the 1,308 townships. So when you're looking at literally in the top 5 or 10 of 1,300 plus townships, it's easy for us to feel small when those are your neighbors. But we are a medium to larger size township when it comes to the state. So I just think that's important for our residents to understand that when we talk about the need to have a full-time administrator, that we are larger. We're part of the coalition of large urban cloud coalition of large Ohio urban townships. So anyway, I agree with everything else. Yeah, Dan said.
Any comment from the public about administrative?
Yeah, there should be one.
There should be
There should be one.
full-time one. Absolutely.
As we've seen how things work, there should be someone there. Because someone has to be there to police you guys. Because now that stuff the fire department has gone by, it's completely incompetent. Especially on you two guys. I know how you voted. I follow you two guys. So there has to be someone there. How this got this out of hand. He should have been fired immediately. You guys let it go. And your lawyer Paul sitting here right now. He should have been fired immediately. So yes, administrator here, 100%.
What are the qualifications needed for the administrator?
I can't, she has to get it right there.
I can give you a copy. Yeah, well, we needed to figure out if we were doing part-time or full-time, and then we're gonna have to amend this and adjust this, but after that, I'd be happy to send it to you, and I know we have your email, so I'm happy to send it to you, and I'm happy to, if I get your contact information, send it to you or anyone else, but that, you know, if the board votes to do this, it would be public line deed. So, but I'm happy to provide.
Where does that come from? Is that step as well? Or is that budgeted, or is it gonna have to be added into a levy? Because I know we got levies, got to pay for it here, so is that gonna have to be added in as well? And where's the cap out? Do we cap out at 100, 120, 150? Where do we stop? If there's, you know.
I mean, Ms. Oster, we asked her to give us a budget update, and she said that she thought that the township could sustain full-time salary at that level until we come out of the general fund.
The capping on it would be he would get the same raises as the rest of the employees. When you get to 3%, 2%, whatever, he would get the same raise.
Just a suggestion on it, on posting this, maybe reach outside of this, not people that are already associated in the township, not people you guys, maybe outside of it, and that might help give a little bit more confidence in things that are going on. Just a suggestion.
Well, the last time we had probably a stack that big, clear from India, we had people from India. apply.
I'm just
So it
saying.
wasn't local, just local last.
I know, it just, my 2 cents, that's it, just an opinion, that's all.
Will there be committees formed to, like the public input, that people can sit down and meet, or is it just a decision for you to be made? And that is.
I think the last time we interviewed, 3 years from us, do we have anybody else saying that with us?
Jimmy and Cindy were in there. They took part in the process.
I think that's probably so.
We'll have to-
Get somebody outside of the realm, get some more fresh blood, and let some other ideas in.
Yeah, and frankly, we haven't talked about the process so much, so I think we need to finalize that, how that works, but tonight was to decide whether to move forward with either a part-time or full-time or nothing. But I appreciate the input from the public, and I think that's critical too. And it's, in my opinion, great to hear where everyone is.
Can you make a motion?
Is there anything else, Mr. Reddick?
I'm fine.
Okay, and I will make a motion that we move forward in posting the position of Township Administrator as a full-time position. Again, with a starting salary, between 80 and 90,000.
I will second it.
Can we request that there be a committee from the community if you want to be part of the process? We did the last time, we didn't really take the vote the last time. But I think it should be committee hearings on also. That's why I didn't vote for it last time.
I'm not opposed to that at all. I don't want to get 5 or 7 people.
That's not comfortable for your applicant either. I would suggest that you look at maybe contacting Green Township or Colerain Township and having somebody from their administration sit in on the interviews to give you input that you currently don't have.
Again, I think that just goes back to not, and I'm saying it just not someone that the 3 of you can't pick one that's all I mean, like, I agree, maybe as their administrators to sit in on Paul Coran, Sycamore, Delhi, whoever, maybe have their administrators sit in to ask some questions with you guys. I think that would be a great committee. They're already doing it. They're experiencing it.
Well, frankly, I think that I couldn't agree more, and I want to see the same process when we talk about fire chief as well, and reaching out specifically to our neighboring townships who, when it comes to mutual aid or whatever else, I mean, there's a lot of collaboration, especially in West Campbell County. And so when we talk about Delhi, Green, Colerain, Whitewater, admittedly, some of them are larger, but they have a good idea of what's going on over here in our neck of the woods and the west side. And I think that both when it comes to picking our next fire chief, as well as picking our next administrator, that we can lean on their experiences. And frankly, it could help with recruitment as well. Knowing that you're going to be coming in front of a panel of future colleagues, that understand the thing.
Yeah, I
Great recommendations.
I think that's
Good
really would be the
recommendation.
best.
Good recommendation. All right, good.
So I made that motion.
We need to vote on.
Yeah, Mr. Glenn,
Yes.
Mr. Reddinger,
Yes.
Mr. Ross.
Yes.
Okay, the only other thing I had was we finally had a meeting with the sheriff's department. Cleve participated, North Bend participated, trustees participated, Mr. Ludo from the county, and also the chief deputy. They made a proposal. And, somehow I got a contract in my box today. I don't know where the contract came from, but they didn't, it was not there the other day when they left to. But they did make a proposal. We're looking at now to see if there's any possibility of a counter proposal. I'm not too sure it is, the way it sounded. They wanted us to either yea or nay, or tell us how much time they need for us to back out of the contract. So, but anyhow, we did make contact. We had a meeting, good meeting for an hour. They were gonna contact Addison. Addison wouldn't help us a whole lot. They got into it, really helped us by about $60,000. Percentages they came up with was for Miami Township to pay 66% of the bill, Cleves 25%, and North Bend 8.5%. They based it on mileage, population, and calls for service. I'm not agreeable with it. I don't know how the board feels. I haven't had a chance to look at it, but we'll probably meet again once we get back, talk to Addison, see what they have to say. But basically, the offer by 2029 would triple your police levy. And right now, you're at 2.1 mils in the police levy, and in order to get the amount they want to be paid by 2029, you'd have to go 5.2 mils. I don't think this board, I don't think it's board problem. We should have to work something else out. So we did meet, and it was very good. But he flat out told us what they wanted to do and how they wanted to do it. It wasn't much debate.
Yeah, can I ask you a question?
You're right.
You said Addison, please, Addison, Macon, and Lake.
Our board, we asked them to reach out to Addison because it would also help us, reduce the cost.
In North Bend, right?
North Bend, Cleve.
Okay. What are they saying for Crosby Township?
They zero again. For this 5-year period here, they pay nothing.
They pay nothing?
They're working on trying to get them in. What they proposed last time was 6 cars covering the entire far west. Now they're looking at covering 3 cars covering Miami, North Bend, Cleves. And they want to split the cost among us, but they want us to pay 66%. And that's
So the car will go out to Crosby, but they're not paying anything on it?
So the last proposal they came with was, as trustee manager said, 6 cars to cover Harrison, Crosby, Whitewater, Miami Township, including the 3 villages. Now there's separating the 2 discussions and trying to negotiate with Whitewater, Crosby, and Harrison Townships. And just, negotiate with them separately. And they're coming to us saying, what would it take for Miami Township unincorporated and Cleves, North Bend, and Addison, potentially, if Addison wants to come to the table. So they're having separate discussions, and they're talking to the 3 far west townships and tell us that they're going to try to get them to demand that they pay. But that's a separate discussion, and they want to just have.
Yeah, he said that they're going to request some type of payment from far west. But that wouldn't impact ours at all.
Right,
That wouldn't
so
lower
they
ours.
could get paid too. It's not like they're getting away with not paying. You're getting stuck in the
Right.
middle, right?
They're-
We don't know what
We, not only that, you wouldn't have a designated car in Miami Township, the way I understand it. It'd be 3 cars that cover this area where that good cars are needed. Whereas now, we supposedly have a dedicated car in Miami Township that we pay for on our list.
And Jack, we buy the vehicle. RV furnish the fuel.
We furnish the fuel. We pay
So
for
that
repairs.
dollar amount, basically, for what? The person's wage.
That's the total cost of the contract, $1.5 million by the end of the 2029.
So basically, we're just paying for wages.
Please,
We're paying for the officer's wages. And or whatever, the whole package. We're supplying the vehicle, the insurance on the vehicle, and the fuel, and the maintenance.
we pay the insurance, correct?
So I have a question. So years ago, when I worked in Woodlawn, Lincoln Heights lost all of they lost everything. They lost their police department, their everything. How did they manage to get the county out there with 3 cars? And I know Lincoln Heights doesn't have any money. How did they manage?
For 1.5 billion.
Like, how does that?
So a gentleman called Lincoln Heights and asked them how the sheriffs
'Cause they
got 3 cars.
Well, this is by
All the
2029, right now, in 2024, they want from us 1.1 million.
I think you guys should contact the village of Lincoln
Why
Heights.
not how they did
And
it?
they base it on the cost for patrol officers.
They got 2 cars.
They do a percentage, I don't know the percentage, but they do a percentage, and I don't know if it's increasing, because they're all debatable.
But you know you're in good.
They also have a grant for other officers that are paid, for by grants.
Okay,
So is that something that we would be eligible for?
So we gotta relieve the grant with them because of the economic situation in the
Yeah.
Heights.
Thank you very much. He sat next to you, Jimmy, he got all that knowledge right.
It's coming right.
Yeah, passionate. But anyhow, just so you know, we still are talking with them, and this is the proposal they made. And that's the contract somebody put in my box, I don't know where the contract came from, but, I'll be more than glad to give it to you if you want, if I want to take it with you. And, the only other thing I had was that, like Paul, Joe, I'm giving this up also, this is my last term. I'll be done in December. I had 24 years of it. I'd just like to thank the residents of the township for their supported my dad for 20 years and supported my great grandfather for 4 years, 1880 to 1884. And he ran, so thank you, residents. And, other than that, we need to go to executive session for a personnel issue. I don't know if there'll be a decision when we come out or not. We called a meeting, the lawyers called a meeting, we asked the lawyers. We had questions.
I'll make a motion, we go in executive session.
Second.
Mr. Glenn,
Yes.
Mr. Renninger,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
Tim? How are you? Good, how are you? Hey, man, more on. Okay, we returned from executive session at, what time is it?
9:04.
9:04. Take a roll call vote.
Mr. Blanton,
Here.
Mr. Renninger,
Here.
Mr. Robinson.
Here.
Motion,
Go ahead.
motion to adjourn?
Second.
Mr.
I got
Blanton.
some more to talk.
Yes.
Wait, what?
He made a motion to adjourn.
Police,
He seconded.
police,
Yeah.
the
What?
the detail for the police
You have it right on top of Jack.
that you have in front of you?
Yeah.
What, are you gonna do something with that?
Oh, that's on the cruiser?
Yes, sir.
$4,140 to do the work on the cruiser to get it, the striping and speakers and light bar. The only question I have is about the light bar. Why I can't use the old light bar, but that's not very good. So, you guys got any questions on this? I don't. Michael, we're gonna make a motion, we go ahead and approve the work that they have to do to get the cruiser ready to hit the road by our public safety. Second.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Renninger?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Now I will make a motion to adjourn.
I will second.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Hilliard?
Yes.
Thank you.